Alright guys, so I was actually gonna make a full sitting down, being careful and everything kind of movie about this, but it just so happened it turned out this way. And so what happened is, I'm gonna hold this back a little bit here. What happened is that God sent me an angel, and I fell in love with her. And I have no idea what this is, but I think it took me a long time to figure it out and to tell her. And I just finally did. Last night I told her that I love her, my angel Anna. And I guess it came out of the blue for me, like, I don't know what this is, what this could be. Am I wrong? Is this a big mistake? I don't know. I mean, really, because I just wanted her to be happy is all. I don't even, I mean, I'm just a wastoid, right? I mean, what am I? This funky guy living on the streets of LA, and all I did was smoke pot and write in my journal and draw anime girls and read my Bible when I feel like it. Oh yeah, and I pissed off the serpents, and then I got a little bit of an audience, and I thought, oh well, maybe now I'll serve God and do a little preaching while I'm at it, since I have some people listening that don't want to hear the gospel, but they do want to hear about monsters. So I said, all right, fine, I'll do it. So I did. And then, you know what happened was, an angel found me. A beautiful angel came down, and I didn't know it. And I was so suspicious and had such a negative view of people that I couldn't understand what was happening. And as time wore on and I got to know her, amazing things happened. And then I thought that she left me, and then she got injured and blinded, and she had superpower vision before and was doing amazing things to help people with it, as I told you, with the law enforcement guy, Mr. Jones, and whom by the way is a captain, as I told you, and I've gotten to know him very well, and an amazing fellow. And I know that all the people there are telling me everything accurately, because I also perceived that my Father in heaven had given it to me, that I, from way over here, might know everything that happened accurately. And so it is amazing what has occurred, and I am totally blown away by it. But what's happened finally is that I realized that I loved her, and again, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a mistake. I don't know if I'm crazy. And I thought, God, for her sake, I mean, I began to love her so much that I just said, look, there's no way someone like me, can I take the spot of some nice young man that she could marry, because I'm older than her by 15 years. And I just thought, how can I do this? How can I take a spot where, she's definitely of marrying age. She's a beautiful woman. I can't understand why she's single. I mean, she I guess told me that she doesn't connect with people, and I'm kind of the same way. So I don't know what all this is, but in any case, I guess we'll find out, because I decided to confess to her last night that I love her, and that's how it is. I'm gonna walk over here because I want to have a look at this these bushes here. So I told her that I love her, and she said, and I thought that she loved me. I mean, she didn't say it. I mean, but I mean, she meant it every day. And I just was happy that she wanted to, that she loved me in return, and that I think that she was so happy that I finally told her that I loved her, like she was expecting it the whole time. And I knew, who knows how long we have, you know, who knows how long any of us have. And I wanted to tell her before too much time passed that I loved her. So, I guess what I can say is that things happen, and you don't expect it. And I sure didn't expect this, because I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, is this really just a big mistake? Am I goofing up? I mean, I don't know. But I'll tell you something that I can't remember the last time I felt this way about somebody, and I don't think I've ever like really had a relationship of love, you know. Maybe some of you guys have, and you've experienced what it's like to be in love, but I had like a few like infatuations, but nothing like real love like this. And I told her, I just said, I love you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if I'm totally losing it here. But I thought the best thing to do is to be honest with her and tell her the truth that, you know, I'm a weird man. And I have no idea, you know, if this is right at all. But I just love her so much that I feel like, and I knew that she loved me, and I felt like, you know, I don't know, I just like, if I could make her happy, that would be enough somehow, you know. And because it's not to me, it's not about, you know, whether I'm happy or content with the situation. I mean, I guess everybody has to be content in their own way, but it's, to me, it's like the priority is if I can make her happy, you know, if I can make her feel like she is satisfied with her life, satisfied with what God's given her. I only ask if I could be healthy long enough to be that for her. I didn't think this could happen to me, and you know, I know if you could meet her and see what a wonderful woman she is. She's selfless. She's not like most girls you could ever think to meet. She does amazing things. I gotta tell you something, I'm still amazed by this, and it's like been like the 5th time I've like said to somebody, I can't believe this. I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, you see right here? That parking structure is a 3-story building, okay? That's probably a 8 or 9-story building. I just found out, I knew that she had a center that she had opened, that something about her opening up a center, but she wasn't clear about it, a center to help lost or abused children and mothers. And I just found out that she got a grant from the government to build a shelter for homeless children and women. A bee came and paid me a visit. It's 100 foot by 100 foot, I think, 5-story building that she got a grant for, and she built it, and it took 3 years. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, and to help homeless children and the mothers, and also they opened up the kitchen to homeless people. And I mean, that's freaking amazing. Okay, that is freaking amazing. Amazing. My darling, sweet, beautiful angel. So yeah, I realized I love her. So Richard Bruce fell in love. That's what happened. And now, I don't know if it's all gonna blow up my face. I don't know if it's a ginormous mistake. I don't know if I'll hurt her because I'm too much of a dork and I'm too weird. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I do know that I love that person. It is love, it is love, it is love. It found me at this last part of my life when I'm 49 years old. I still have no job, no career, and I was homeless living in a little RV because frankly I didn't give a fuck about it all. And yeah, I said fuck the Navy, fuck school, and fuck society. Kicked my feet up on a park bench, whipped out a joint and smoked it, and said, what the fuck? Drew a little anime, read my Bible when I felt like it, watched a movie now and again, and walked around and thought about it all. Did a little writing. Then finally I pissed off the serpents. And then finally, a beautiful angel came down that God gave me. And she said, how can I help you? And I said, well, it'd be nice to get the fuck off the street. And guess what? She not only got me off the street, she got me into a nice little condo. That was one hell of a find. 1 in a million lucky chance. Although I've been searching for 3.5 months. But still, couldn't have asked for better. Really couldn't have. I mean, not for no bum like me, right? Beautiful 2-bedroom, wood floor, refrigerator and washer and dryer built in. Modern, beautiful place. Took a little fixing up. It needed a little fixing up, but that was a small price for me to pay. And I can tell you, anything good happens to me, the serpents just don't like it. And here we got black and white LAPD coming around again. Coming for a direct flyover. Direct flyover. Can we get zoom? No, we cannot get zoom. Because we're on manual focus. Now we can get zoom. Direct flyover, that was a direct flyover. Let's see if we can get him in here. Here he comes, black and white LAPD on the A6400 Sony. We're recording gang stalking on a high-end camera. Direct overhead, direct overhead. Direct overhead, black and white LAPD. This is a gang stalking event, this is a gang stalking event. Black and white LAPD, this is a gang stalking event. Your taxes, friends. My fellow American compatriots, our world isn't what we think. I uploaded movies showing non-human features, reptilian features, and I became a target of unbelievable psychological warfare known as gang stalking. Check it out on YouTube, gang stalking or targeting. And you couldn't believe how I had helicopters buzzing my house day and night for 7 years now, guys. And just don't go into the police about it because they are the police. They own everything. They're the serpents. They own and control everything. And I'm here at the Westfield Topanga Plaza. All right, let's go to Little Tokyo. Woohoo! What? No left turn? That sucks. Ah, fuck you! Oh, I love these trees, guys. God, I love these yellow trees. Look, I live in this cool condominium complex now. Who knows how long a jerk like me will last in a place like that. But hey, it was a fun year while it lasted. I only got 3 more months on the lease before I'm free and clear to say screw it anytime, which of course is good for me, because I always say screw it anytime. I love to get down here to Little Tokyo at least once during the Christmas season. And as I may have told you, my health went to shit hell in a handbasket. Both my back and my kidneys gave out. Yeah, almost shit canned. Luckily, I've got a super girlfriend, so she can heal it maybe, or maybe not, because I'm the one person she can't see in the spirit, so she can see everybody else's spirit, but mine's like a total blank, just like that chick in Twilight. You know, the dude could read anyone's mind, but hers. So it's just like that. And now, dude, okay. She's out of her body and she's emailing me, okay? Do you get what the fuck I am saying? She is out of her body and she is emailing me in Russian. She thinks in Russian and it ends up in my inbox. And she's a spirit out of her body, and her body's trashed from a major accident that somebody else sustained, and she took the injuries onto herself. This is not bullshit. I am not losing my mind. Anybody can talk with me in depth and see that I have my ass screwed on straight. This is the real thing. She is a angel apparently, and it's just amazing what's happening. And you know, I have so much I want to say about this, but I'm a little bit concerned because, you know, she says that she doesn't want to be famous, so I don't, you know, but I don't know. She just told me, in one of her, I call it T-mails, thought mail. And she's a spirit, dude. She is a spirit out of her body, wandering on the earth. Because she said she saw people, and she knows it's earth because she says she saw people picking up trash in a forest area where she was. And yeah, and so she is emailing me from the beyond, okay? I mean, and did I mention that I love her? I love her so dearly. I don't know what the hell happened to me. So I'm in love with a ghost. I'm like that movie Ghost, except it's reversed. I like a girl, and she's a ghost, and she's floating outside of her body because her body is totally trashed. Her arm almost ripped off. The doctors wanted to move her to another hospital and have it amputated, and she's totally injured, massive injuries, bone injuries, and I just feel so bad for her. But it is freaking wild, because what happened was the reason she took on her injury. See, it's the girlfriend of a dear friend of ours, her lawyer, Mr. P, who, and he's loved her forever, but he never knew it because he had closed it off. He didn't think that was for him, and you know, he just didn't think that he could pursue that, and he forgot all about it. And then she awakened the memory in him. Yeah, okay. Do you hear me? She awakened the memory in him. She touched him, and she saw the memory that he had of her, and she excuse me, reminded him, Mr. P, of his girlfriend. And but it looks like she got attacked. So let me just also tell you the harsh situation, because this is the third time now that the law enforcement agent that I told you about, Mr. Jones, there in Thailand, this is the third time now that one of his men have been mind controlled to cause an accident of some kind. Well, the first time it was that, and all 3 times they've accused his men of being drunk, and we knew that they weren't. These were professionals. They were on the job. He had given them an assignment. If they screw it up, for sure they won't make it. And you know, these are serious men, and I know that they're serious because I've talked to at least one of them, and I could tell he was serious about his job, and he was very remorseful, because what happened was he got mind controlled on the way to take 4 more monks to guard Miss Anna, my dear Anna. And because I asked him, I said, look, she's getting attacked. She got attacked on the street. There were people throwing rocks at her. There was dogs coming in a swarm at her. And I said, we need more protection, because we already had this big, you know, strong guy that was this guy that was guarding her. And because I had already suggested that they bring him. But when she got attacked again on the street, I said, look, let's bring out some more monks. So we did. But in the first attempt to bring those 4 monks to add an additional guard to guard her at her townhouse in Bangkok, they got into an accident. Okay, so the guy who was driving, one of Mr. Jones's agents, he got mind control, and what do you know, right? And it happened nearby the monastery as they were leaving the monastery, and what do you know, there happened to be a policeman on the road, and that guy accused that law enforcement agent that was working for Mr. Jones of being drunk. And I talked to this guy. There's no way this guy was, you know, if he doesn't complete this assignment, he's not gonna, you know, finish his course, because he was in training, and there's just no way he would be drinking on the job. So I knew that wasn't happening. And the time before that, at the hospital, as I may have described, but in any case, Jarua went to the hospital for an exam that she needs to complete her business visa to continue working there in Thailand. And at that time, there was a guy that was guarding her that was another one of Mr. Jones's men. And so, in any case, what happened was that all of this, the doctors came out on her first visit and asked if she would stay at the hospital. She said, "What? What are you talking about?" It's an extremely expensive hospital, and extremely expensive. And she said, "We found something interesting in your blood. We want to run some tests." And she said, "No, I'm just here for an examination." And they took more blood than they should have. They take a lot, to the point where she was really tired and sleepy. But then she went back to the hospital the next day to pick up her paperwork from those tests, and they drugged her and the law enforcement agent that was with her. She woke up 10 hours later in a freezing cold room, still in a hospital gown. Still in a hospital gown. She didn't know what happened to her, and she called me right as she was escaping out of that hospital, still in the hospital gown, and she was running onto the street and calling a taxi cab, and she was calling it in Thai, and she sounded like a Thai woman, Thai, no, like that act. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun. I'm just kind of like the way it sounds, because I know Mr. Jones pretty well. He talks to me, and he told me everything. And this guy that was supposed to be guarding her, my dear Anna, Jarua, he also found himself passed out, and they had apparently subdued him, and he was in a hospital room, and they said that he had been drinking, and that he acted totally wild and crazy, and then passed out. And then when Mr. Jones, who has jurisdiction, asked for the CCTV footage, the camera footage in the hospital, to confirm with their bogus claim that he was drinking and out of control, what do you know? The footage is not available because there was a papal from the Pope religious figure that had been visiting at that time, and they had to that was the excuse they used. They couldn't show the footage because he was visiting in town at that time, and they don't allow any footage, any unauthorized footage, some BS, to keep them from to hide the fact that no, what really happened was these sneaky bastards, whoever they were in this hospital in Thailand, and it was both of them told me, both Anna and the law enforcement agent, Mr. Jones, told me that it was a hospital of very good repute, a Catholic Christian hospital, and they have Christian motifs, and Mr. Jones even sent me some pictures of the motifs in that hospital. And but yeah, they're a bunch of creeps that tried to do something to Jarua, and they took too much of her blood. Who knows what else they did when she was passed out, and then she woke up in that freezing cold room, still in a hospital gown, and ran out down the stairs onto the street. And then she was calling me while she was doing this, and she was getting into a cab, and but that was so that was 2 instances of one of Mr. Jones' law enforcement agents being detained for being drunk, being accused of being drunk, and so it's on the police record. Okay, so now now I explained to you that the whole time that I knew my missing friend abroad, Anna was. I learned everything about what was happening to her from her lawyer, Mr. P. A Thai man and a longtime friend of hers, who they met at a hospital not a hospital, but a care center that was the original care center that Mr. P. Kun P. was working at when he met Anna, and then so his girl that she had woken up his memory of was attacked, and here's how she was attacked. There were apparently 2 law enforcement agents that were working for Mr. Jones who had her had some guards on her because they were concerned about her being attacked. Well, guess what? She was attacked, so his fear was justified. And but unfortunately, how she was attacked was that one of the law enforcement agents was mind controlled, and he's the one who ran her over, and seriously injured her. Yeah, and Mr. P was raging mad at the law enforcement agent, and a fight ensued. But Mr. Jones said I don't blame him for being furious, because in a way it was his fault. But I know what happened, friends. I know what happened. There's no doubt about it. And they accused him. The police accused that man, the law enforcement agent that was behind the driver's wheel, of drinking, being drunk and out of control. So that's 3 times that Mr. Jones's law enforcement agents were attacked, mind controlled, and then they accused them of being drunk under the influence of alcohol, which is completely untrue. There's no way. These people were on the job. They be immediately shit canned from all the work that they've done to be law enforcement agents in that country, and and I know these people. You can tell a lot by talking with people over time and email, and I know that these were real people. They were serious people. No way they'd be drinking. So the fact that these demons are screwing up by accusing them each time of drinking, because now there's a consistent pattern that they can show. And I told Mr. Jones, if you want a letter from me saying, because I was aware of all these events, and I also became aware that God was providing that I would be aware of all these events for whatever reason, and I would know everything that's happening. And he gave me this great adventure, and I'm so grateful to my Lord and my Father and my God for giving me this awesome experience. It really has been awesome, and I've been trying to get over there, but every time I try to get over there, something like this happens. I was about to go over there, and then this happened. And so anyway, when this law enforcement agent ran over Mr. P's girlfriend that he loves, and he loved her dearly, and he was furious, and he told me that he loved her and everything, and I knew that it was real, and they had gotten together, and there was some time before that, and they had gotten together, and she was, and when he first approached her and asked if she wanted to go have coffee or whatever it was, and they went, because she works as a school teacher, she was crying. She was so moved because she just couldn't believe it that he had come for her all these years, and he cared for her all this time. And when he saw her in this horrid state, her arm, like they were going to have to amputate it, okay, from a being run over being hit by a car. I don't know exactly how the accident happened, but she was severely injured, severely broken, really like just mutilated. So you know what happened? So then they all Mr. Jones got informed, and Mr. P told me everything, and he described it moment by moment in an excellent detail email. As you may have heard before, he describes everything in excellent detail and great English. I mean, I understand everything that's happening. And so they all jumped in the car, including Master Monk. Okay, yeah, the elder Master Monk of this huge monastery now has 1,000 monks there. Okay, because a lot of them Drua brought there, because for the way things transpired when there was an issue with the religious authorities there, and this and that happened. Next thing you know, it went from 600 monks to 1,000, and Master Monk's telling me they're my men. I'm like, what? I'm just a contributor of a foreign religion. I mean, if they want to listen, awesome. I mean, great. It's a chance to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to them, which I've been doing. But I mean, this whole thing is just amazing what's happened. And so, okay, so anyway, then Mr. P saw his beloved girl there, totally mangled. Okay, and then because they all left the monastery when Mr. Jones got the call, and Master Monk and P and Jarua and Mr. Jones got in the car, and they went down there, and then when Jarua saw her on the table, she said, okay, I'm gonna have to heal her. And then she called me first to tell me that she was going to be out for a while, and so she was telling me this, and that oh my God, sure you want to do this, and maybe I asked her, maybe you can do it without taking the injuries onto herself, because what she does is she takes the injury or illness onto herself, and then it takes her time to heal her own body. She did that with Mr. Jones. He got whipped and bruised and ribs broken, and she took it all, broken ribs and all, into herself, and then she healed herself extra. She a lot faster than most people heal, but that's how she heals. And I said, are you sure you can't try to do it just by not just like healing it the way you, because she healed the highest Master Monk's hand with like an instantaneous light that came out of her hand, and she healed the stab wound that she had caused by stabbing his chair, nailing it to the frickin' chair. Okay, so then she lay down on top of her, on top of Mr. P's beloved girl, and she took all the injuries onto herself. And Mr. P was telling me that he could hear her scream, Anna Jarua scream, and then she passed out because she's totally mangled. Okay, and then the doctors came, like I said, and when they saw her, they said we need to take her to a more advanced facility, and they need to amputate her arm because gangrene's going to set in. There's just no way she can keep it. So you see the miracles. What's happened? She takes all the injuries exactly as they are unto herself. It's just like, if you guys are familiar with the old Star Trek, remember that episode with where McCoy falls in love with that empath who that alien girl who heals everything. She takes the injuries onto herself, and then the injuries disappear really fast. That's exactly what Jarua is. Her power is. It's just like that, except it takes her longer. It takes several days or maybe weeks to heal. And she had this one cough for like a long time, and this one weird guy walked up to the monastery, this Christian guy, and they said they all liked him, but he gave her this wooden cross and it stopped. But then later on she lost it because she was brought into certain authorities, and she wasn't able to keep it. But in any case, she got back, she got out of there, and this and that happened, and she was living in her townhome when all this happened. But then she came out to the monastery for something else, and then that's when they found out that Mr. P's girlfriend had gotten mangled, run over by Mr. Jones's own men, and you can imagine how worried and problematic that is for Mr. Jones, and who I know, and he's been hanging in there, but you can imagine how tough it is, because 3 of his men, he's a captain of a law enforcement team, and 3 of his men now have been accused of drinking on the job, and I just want to again be sure to witness that I knew these men. No way, there's no way. I mean, one time you might say, but all 3 times, no way. And the fact that there was police and everything there ready to make these charges, so they're trying to build a case against him. You see, it's Satan fighting against him. He's a Christian man, and it's Satan fighting against him. So yeah, it's pretty serious what's happening, guys, and I just thought I would tell you about that and update you about that. And so she was unconscious out of her body. Okay, so Anna is unconscious out of her body, and she's been emailing me now, probably about 8 or 9 emails so far, emailing me in Russian. By the way, her body, if I didn't mention, is mangulated, unconscious on a respirator in a hospital. Okay, she's unconscious. Everybody knows she's unconscious. Mr. Jones is there, Master Monk is there, Mr. P is there, and so I know for sure that she's unconscious in a hospital, and she is emailing me. And it's her. I know it's her. It's not some evil spirit or something. You're not being deceived by demons. I know it's her, and because we had discovered just recently that we're in love, and she's been you know, saying such nice things to me as she always does, and she's totally in my heart, and it is just it's just amazing what's happening. Okay, so my girlfriend is an out of her body spirit that is able to email me with her thoughts, and they're in Russian. And so I'm translating it, and because the mail actually, Gmail automatically will translate it when you press the translate button, and I mean, that's freaking awesome. My girlfriend can email from the dead as a ghost. So even if I break up with her, she could continue to pester me with emails. It's wild, man. I mean, this is totally freaking wild, and it's happening to me, man. And she's still her. I can tell, like a little bit dreamy, a little bit kind of dreamy, but it's her. It's definitely her. And just as, you know, sharp, she remembers everything and everything, but she's a spirit. Okay, I am talking to a spirit. She's out of her body. Okay, and because Master Monk just gave me the message to tell her, don't wander too far away. You should come back to your body because he's worried about her being lost. And but I mean, I'm not worried. She's very strong. I don't have a worried feeling. Plus, she just loves me so much, and I love her so much, and it's just it's wild, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't understand it. Like I don't think I've ever been in love with this. I've had infatuations, but I've never had this, and I think it's the first time for her too. So we're both kind of like, whoa. And I told her, I said, you know, I can't believe this is, you know, I mean, I didn't think I'm somebody that this should happen to, because, you know, I'm weird. I don't have any money. I don't have a career. I'm this weird guy who's doing reptilian shapeshifter movies on YouTube with helicopters buzzing them day and night. And by the way, even in Christmas time, in fact, especially at Christmas time, they go ape whenever I come down here. So just be on the alert. I'm gonna, in this video, we're gonna show helicopters buzzing overhead, squad cars pulling in front of me. Maybe that's happened a couple of times. Like, just kind of seemed like they were pacing me, but definitely the helicopters. You'll see them buzzing around when I go down here to park. But she's a TI as well, by the way, and that's probably how we met, because she was probably looking into TI stuff, and she knew about the demons and the reptilians and everything, and you know, was investigating it, and then she probably happened upon my channel, and that's how we met, and then she contacted me, and really amazing everything that's happened, guys. But there's a lot more detail, and I think that she just told me that she wants me to, because I was telling her that I would love to tell her story, you know, but she didn't want to be famous, so I don't know, but I'll wait until I don't know if she's still kind of in a dreamy state or not. Like, I don't know, you know, I want to confirm it when she's awakened in her body, but I feel so bad for her right now. I mean, her body's mangled, man, and because she took all those injuries onto herself. And she heals real fast, but I think from this it's going to take a long time, because it's like extremely serious, like unto death. I mean, they were thinking maybe she wouldn't make it. The girlfriend of Mr. P, and oh my God, it's just incredible, guys, what's happening here. And she loves me. She really loves me, and I really love her. I mean, we're like love. not, because I didn't even realize it after a whole year, and I couldn't tell her anything, because I just felt like there's no way. I mean, first of all, she's a young, beautiful woman. And she gets hit on men so much that she had to wear a fake ring, a ring that was a wedding ring, just so she could say, sorry, I'm married, because all these guys were continuing to hit on her, okay? And because she's just a fabulous woman, beautiful, awesome, smart, and super passionate. She doesn't even tell people about her superpowers, guys. But she has them, these superpowers, and just amazing stuff. We're talking Jesus level miracles. Did I mention Jesus level miracles? Not the same powers in like she doesn't, she can't say I forgive you and then instantly heal. It's not like that. She takes it onto herself. But she has twice now brought back from the dead, or almost from the dead, and not just people but animals, and she's so sweet and generous, and she always says nice things to me, and I couldn't figure out like why is she being so nice to me, and I was suspicious, and I just couldn't admit it, guys. I couldn't face up to my own feelings, and I definitely didn't want to make, because I know if I like girls, like I can charm them by being nice, and I good with words, and then I didn't want her to fall in love with me and then waste her life on some freaking skinny, no job, no life, buzzed by reptilians day and night freaking loser. But I think she's just weird enough for me, guys. I don't know. I mean, and like I said, I was really also like, oh God, she's younger. She's like 15 years younger than me, and my health is starting to fail too. I have back problems, and my kidneys have been, I think they've been screwing up for a long time, but I'm just now like they get all of a sudden really like a lot worse, and like it may be like catastrophic failure if I'm not careful. I have to be real careful about what I eat. But I said, I didn't want her to be sad over me all this time. I can't even stand up straight because my back was hurting so bad. Because I don't know what the hell that is either. I think it's a curse, actually, and that maybe the Lord could lift the curse, because I did, of course, pray to the Lord about it, and prayed for her, but because I didn't want her to be sad, with me. If she loved me, and like all I would be is like a burden to her, and she'd like be sad that I'm sick and all this shit, because my health is good. Normally my health's been great. It's like I made it to just about 50, and now it's like pissing out on me. But in any case, hopefully I can show some balls in my hour of deterioration. And but I mean, who knows? I mean, that, like I said, maybe she can heal me, but if not, then I guess we just have what time we have left together, and hope for the best, But guys, if you're suspicious of her, I was too. Believe me, I was. That's why I couldn't, I couldn't tell her how I felt. I mean, I liked her, but I couldn't tell. But it was weird actually how it came, because I didn't realize it consciously. It's like been with me the whole time that I liked her, but I just couldn't. I mean, it seemed unimaginable to me. Too freaking old. I'm too weird. And no. I can't. First of all, if we were to get married and have kids, I mean, oh my God, guys, I am not. Listen, guys, if I hadn't told you this, I'm irresponsible and lazy, and I have no job, no money, no career for a job or money in sight. And how can I be a father of kids? Because that's what love tends to be about, because love's about marriage, and marriage is about kids. And I told her that, and I said, you should go back to Russia and find a good Russian man, and because there's lots of men. She says, no, I don't like other men, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, have you met all men, and she was like saying, well, I just, and I did say, yeah, wow, she's 34, and she has not, she's not even doesn't even have a boyfriend, and she doesn't have anybody that's even calling with her and talking with her on a regular basis like I was. She said, you're the only one. So, I finally just realized, okay, I mean, and she said, just, why, worry too much about the future? I said, yeah, well, I like to worry about the future, especially when it comes to kids, because I take kids real seriously, and I agree 100% with my dad. who told me that the one reason he would come back and haunt me is if I left my babies, if I abandoned my babies. And I at least want to be healthy for them, and you know, be able to be a father for them, even if I'm not good with money, you know, and I didn't want to, you know, burden her with that, and you know, and like, oh God, you know, I feel so bad if I just like, you know, if I couldn't be healthy and there for the kids, and you know, how can I be a father if I'm not a provider? And you know, even if she provides all the money, and you know, I mean, it's just, I don't know, this whole thing seemed effed up, but I just love her, and maybe I'm just a fool, and I don't know what this is, and who knows what'll happen tomorrow, and who knows if it'll last. You know, you never know how you're gonna feel later, and so it's just, you know, it's just total situation of doubts, but it's a wonderful feeling. I just love her so much. She is so sweet and wonderful, and she's so sacrificing. I mean, I told you what she just did, and I mean, and she goes through so much. You know, I should call her adventure girl. She can't go 2 weeks without some bloody, violent situation. I just found out she got into a bar fight, and this guy asked her to dance because she was working at a bar to bust these people with Mr. Jones, and she ended up somehow when she touched him, because she was doing a lap dance for him, and that wasn't what she does, but she had to do it because it was part of her job, and in the bar, if they pay you money to dance for them, you have to do it. So she had to do it, and then she touched the guy, but when she touches people, I don't know if I told you this, but she can feel their she knows everything about their past, all the crime that they did, and when she touched him in that moment, not only did she see it, but he saw all of his crimes, and he freaked out and started as like some crap, like yelling at her, and then Mr. Jones came up and started a fight with him, and then that guy whipped out a knife, and he was trying to stab Mr. Jones, but he ended up stabbing Jerua, and stabbed her underneath her left breast. So she got stabbed, dude. And she just told me that. And God knows what other crazy stuff my Russia woman does. Oh my God. And guys, I knew if you got to know her the way I have over this last year, you would love her too. You would just, you know, because she's going to have that effect on any man. You know, I told you the whole story where Mr. Jones, the law enforcement agent, the captain, okay, was so depressed over her disappearing. She disappeared for a whole week. I mean, literally vanished in thin air because there was some weird witch that came and things happened, and she disappeared, and they thought that she was gone forever, and he was so distraught because he loved her so much that he was ready to commit suicide. And she came back, appearing, hovering in the air, with once again her eyes glowing and talking with this like voice of God thundering loud, and she stopped him, and he's like, everybody, all the monks there, like, holy crap, she's floating in the air, and she stopped him from committing suicide. But I'm just saying, he loved her so much because of all the stuff that he had been doing with them, and she saved with them like over 6,000 women and children and people that were abused and stuff, and any man would love her, and that's why I was thinking, oh God, you know, I'm just another schmo that fell in love with her. But the thing is that's different about this is that she really seems to love me for whatever reason. You know, maybe it's a deep down genetic thing or spiritual thing. I mean, I don't know what it is, but she really, I know. I mean, I knew it for a while, and that's why I couldn't say anything to her, because I knew that she loved me, and I kind of, oh shit, what am I gonna do, guys? I mean, you know, I don't know what to do with this, because I don't think I'm worthy to even take her when there could be some good young real man to be with her. I'm just not. Look at me, I'm skinny, you know, I mean, I don't know, I just don't feel like there's so many other more worthy men than me, and they have, you know, they have jobs, and they're hardworking, and they're competent, and I'm none of that stuff, man. I'm just a schmo. I'm just a schmo on the street. I pissed off the reptilians, and now, some people listening, okay, now I'll preach the gospel, all right. But, okay. She really seems to like me, and the main thing that I was thinking was, when I told her, was that she's blind, and it happened when she was helping me, and I can't let her be alone in the dark. And and she's so sweet and kind and lovely, and I mean, she's tough too, you know, and she likes to, she can be bossy too, you know, like, you know, she's a commander, but you know, she knows that I stand my ground, and she respects me for that, but I mean, I just felt like, you know, how can I take the spot of some good, honest man that's you know, a real man, you know, that's like, you know, buffed out muscle dude, you know, or somebody, you know, like a real man, you know, not like me, you know. I'm going bald, as you can see. You guys know I'm going bald. That sucks, man. I used to have really nice, beautiful hair. Now I'm like a freaking Kojak or Gilgamesh from the Smurfs. Ah, shit. Well, anyway, it is what it is. So I guess I just have to make the best of it, you know? Helicopter approaching, black and white passing by. Alright guys, so I'm playing hooky today. I'm supposed to be working on things for the Lord, and should be staying home and resting from my back problems, but I decided, well, I just have to come down here to Little Tokyo and enjoy myself, and hopefully not get kicked out of here for using a video camera in the store without asking. So what I was thinking what would be really cool to say to you guys is that here's a Christmas when I have a girlfriend after about, good over 30 years, so I'm 49, and for 30 years I've been on the road, actually more like 35, and it's amazing. I now have a girl to love this Christmas. You know, I can't be with her, but with her as much as I've been all this time, and gotten to know her.